Gathering cards that are way more valuable to your opponent. So these cards are going to give more than they take away. We're going to start off with Hunted Wumpus. Okay, this is a green 3 generic 6/6 creature. And that basically stops right there. Except it's got the ability, whenever it enters the battlefield, each other player may put a creature card from their hand onto the battlefield. And I should say, well, I should be very concerned if I were to play this against somebody, because all I have is a vanilla creature, and they can put down almost anything. But maybe that's a strategy in a 4-player game. Have everyone duke it out while you just have a damn 6/6 vanilla creature. Alright, next up, let's take a look at Old Boy's Temporal Truce. Temporary Truce. Ooh, okay, we have a white 1 generic sorcery. Each player may draw up to 2 cards. For each card less than 2 any player draws, that player gains 2 life. You choose whether to draw first. Hold on. Each player may draw up to 2 cards, and then for each card less than 2 any player draws. Okay, I don't understand what the hell this card does. I am absolutely confused. Each player may draw up to 2 cards. For each card less than 2 a player draws this way, that player gains 2 life. Oh, so everyone's just cashing in on 2 cards. Got it. We draw 2, the table draws basically 4. Okay, Hinaria, Harmless Offering. I mean, are you gonna give them something good? I don't know if anyone's ever put this in their deck and actually donated something sweet to their opponent. Usually you're just gonna donate them like something that's gonna make them lose the game. So I would say this does, I mean, okay, you're not wrong. I mean, probably giving them anything is better than nothing. Unless they're about to die next turn. Alright, next up, let's take a look at, oh, Show and Tell is a great one. Literally Show and Tell. Yeah, okay, Show and Tell. We got a blue 2 generic sorcery. Each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. And I don't know a time I've played Show and Tell in a multiplayer game and I lived to tell the tale. This only screws me. Like, you always think in your mind, oh yeah, I got the best card to put on the battlefield. You're always completely dead wrong. No, the combined, everyone else has something bigger or better to deal with you. And I don't even want to get started with cards that like automatically bounce my card back to my hand or turn off its abilities or counter its trigger or something. Oh, it's brutally awful. Okay, next up. James, time for the hot tub stream. No, we're getting into winter. Winter is terrible. Very, very bad. Bojack Yellow. Ooh, the Indentured Djinn. Dentured. I like this card. I want to play a vintage deck with this card. It's a 3-mana 4/4 with flying. Come into play. Each other player may draw up to 3 cards. Why not give them value? This is a true donation, that's for sure. The donation to your opponent. Goblin Guide. I don't know. Does this really count? Sometimes. So sometimes Goblin Guide, red 2/2, haste. When it attacks, defending player reveals the top of their library. Now, if it's a land, they get to draw the card. But let's not forget that things keep beating your face in, starting from turn 1. So in the end, it actually might kill you. Kagan, thanks so much for your super chat. The Hunted Horror. Does this really give more than it, like, is this more valuable to your opponent? Okay, let's read this. It's a double black for a 7/7 with trample, and when it enters the battlefield, target one opponent creates 2 3/3s with the protection from black. Oh, it's got protection from black. I still don't actually think it gives more value to the opponents. It's like one opponent gets 6 power. You still have a 7/7 trampler. I actually think you come out far ahead. The same thing with this Goblin Guide. I think, well, I can't tell. You know, no one's playing Goblin Guide, so that, you know, the extra card draw is going to help them. All right, next up, let's take a look at... Actually, we're going to donate that super chat since I'm going to disqualify this one. Oh my god, Hypergenesis. The hypers of all Genesises. Suspend 3. for green, 1 generic. Starting with you, each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. But here's the thing, you gotta repeat this process until no one puts a card on the battlefield. You better win, like, hardcore when you play the Hypergenesis. This is like such a nonsense card. It's basically, I don't know, throwing the whole game into a gamble. Maybe you're gonna win, probably not. May the odds be ever in your favor. They've never been in my favor. It's that instant snipe, though. All right, come up with another card. Oh, you want? Okay, King Ginger wants Eureka. All right, this is a super chat. It's basically the same damn thing. May the odds also be ever in your favor. 4 mana, sorcery. Starting with you, each player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield, and you repeat the process until no one put a card onto the battlefield. Thanks so much for the super chat, King Ginger. Chaos wants Chaos Warp. Okay, hold on. There's no guarantee this actually helps anybody, to be honest. It says 3 mana instant. The owner of target permanent the owner of target permanent shuffles into their library, then reveals cards on the top of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. It's actually not guaranteed. So you might make things better. You might make things better for your opponent. You might make things worse. It's a complete gamble. I'm assuming you're not bouncing a land back into their deck. Like, I'm just assuming that. Okay, we got Christopher B. Vision Skynes. I don't know what this is. 2 mana instant. Each player draws 2 cards. That's interesting. All right, everybody, I've brought bacon for everyone. I brought all the snacks, the chips, the pizza. I brought pop. We got Coca-Cola. I got Pepsi. We got Mountain Dew. I brought it all. Something for everyone around here. This is okay. I will accept this one. Cards are way more valuable. Yeah, it's in some capacity one with nothing. This card is so bad for you usually that it's gonna help your opponents, and I understand. The one with nothing stands. They're out there. It's like Nikachu. Just think of the possibilities of I have my entire hand into my graveyard. All right. Well, this card is like been sub $1 for an eternity and has not really proven anything. You know what's better than this thing? Faithless Looting. Careful Study. You know, anything that draws cards while also discarding them at the same time. Okay, next up, super chat from Elixir, the Shah of Nar Isle. That's a new one to the show. Or maybe not. Okay, this is a 4 mana Efreet. It's 6/6 with trample. It's got Echo of 0. Okay. A little suspicious if you ask me. When Shah of Nar Isle's Echo cost is paid, each opponent may draw up to 3 cards. Holy crap, they're cashing in. Alright everyone. Ancestor recalls for everybody. Today I am Santa Claus. In Fiery Incarnate. Essentially. What a funny card. Julian loves the Shah of Nar Isle. Probably because it almost looks like an uncard. You love your uncards, even when they're real cards. I never needed my hand anyways. Joke's on you. Well, on the, you're talking about the, what's it called? The one with nothing? Okay, next up. Good with Hull Breacher? Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, if you can sneak that into your play group, because it's banned. Sneaking banned cards into this play group. My friend played with an Iona once. They were like, hey, check out this hand. I'm like, this card's banned. It's like, it is? Not everyone pays attention to the ban list around here. Okay, Julio, Enslaved Horror. This is a 4 mana 4/4 horror. Now, when it comes into play, each other player may return a creature card from the graveyard to play. All right, everyone, you can reanimate. I will get nothing. So we don't even get to reanimate a card. You know, this is not even like a show and tell like card. This is just 4 mana. I got a vanilla creature. It's funny. These cards were way ahead of their time. This was like Chaos Ensued before Chaos Ensued existed. All right, next up. I'm not counting stuff like Path to Exile. Like it depends. Okay, I'll count Path to Exile. Very early on in the game, this card's awful. It's a white instant, exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So, I mean, like, obviously the opponent might be a little happy that they got rid of your creature, but if they do this too early in the game, turns 1, 2, or 3, they're just ramping you. They're just gonna ramp you, and then all of a sudden you're gonna play like a 5 or 6 drop, way ahead of curve,
please, no!
and take over the game. Next up, do we count Settle the Wreckage? You know what? I could count Settle the Wreckage. I could count that one. It's sort of very similar. So it depends. This one's also a depends card. Very heavily depends. If you see it coming, then it's... See, the thing is, if you see Settle the Wreckage coming, it's not really that good. 4 mana instant, exile all attacking creatures target player controls. That player may search their library for that many basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle their library. Maybe they want to get to 9 lands. But like, if you know they got Settle the Wreckage, you can like just attack with 1 or 2 creatures and still get value out of the Settle the Wreckage. Turn Settle the Wreckage into a 4 mana, like what? 4 mana... Path to Exile. That's the card I was trying to think of. Okay, Hinaria, Minds Aglow. Settle the Wreckage is a close one. I'm gonna start disqualifying cards that are a little too close. It gotta be clear value for your opponent. We got it, clear value. Okay, Blue Sorcery. Join forces. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player draws X cards, where X is the total amount of mana paid this way. That's insane! Holy crap! Each player may pay any amount of mana. So we're just letting everyone just draw cards for 1 blue, or like 1 mana at all. That's crazy. Okay, next up, let's take a look at, I don't know if I like Forced Fruition. Doesn't this help everyone? Forced Fruition. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, that player draws 7 cards. Honestly, I think that's a downside. There's no way anyone is surviving this. That like, you're sort of, what does this technically mean? You're like locked out at what, 7? Okay, busting out Nikachu's calculator. Assuming like how we started the game with what, about 7 cards draw, it's 8. Then 5 turns pass, that's 13 cards. So 99 subtract 13 equals 86. Now, divided by 7 is how many spells we can cast for the rest of the game. More or less is 12. 12.28 if I've done the calculation correctly with Nikachu's calculator. That's actually a lot of, well, I don't know if that's a lot of spells. 12 sounds like a lot. Or sorry, 12 sounds sort of few. I would just be concerned, I'm just gonna draw out my deck and then I'm dead. Okay, what about giving the opponent salamanders? So that counts. What the hell is that? What card is that? SD Shogun, an offer you can't refuse. Yeah, this reminds me of Swan Song. Blue instant, counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasures. So you're giving them 2 lotus petals in exchange for countering their spell. Not a super highly played card because of that reason. Like I mean, you're gonna do what you gotta do to prevent yourself from dying to combo decks, but you don't really feel good about giving them 2 mana. Wouldn't you just draw into removal for Forced Fruition? What if you don't? What if you don't have removal for Forced Fruition? That's a great plan. What if there's a counter war on the stack? What if the opponent tries to counterspell that thing? And what if you try to play Force? Oh man, I can't imagine what a game with Forced Fruition looks like. It's like, okay, try to remove this. Counterspell, draw 7 cards. Well, in response, Force of Will, draw 7 cards. Well, in response, I'll play a cantrip to draw 7 cards. Find more counter spells to counter your Force of Will. It's all going downhill from there. Okay, we got Chen with Wheel and Deal. Is that a real card? It is! It's a 4 mana instant. Any number of target opponents each discards their hand and draws 7 cards. And you draw a card? This is what I'm talking about, though. We draw 1 card, they draw 7. See, this is actually the quintessential card I feel that I'm trying to go towards with this with this show. You clearly are on the losing side of this. Okay, we got, next up, we have super chats. We have super chats glory. James! It's time for my monthly hot tub stream request. Well, you can request it all you want. I don't have a hot tub. I don't really feel like moving my entire gaming equipment into my bathroom. Play this with forced fruition. I don't think that changes anything. I mean, they draw 7 cards. Okay, we got Bryce with Secret Rendezvous. Secret Rendezvous, 3 mana sorcery. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. This is too... You know what? I gotta start disqualifying these. You and target... Oh, it's only 1 opponent. So it's like, it's too equal. Now, if it's all the opponents, I could get behind that. You and target opponent each draw. It is friendly, though. You're being a very friendly person at the table. Cameron Cole! Oh, thank you so much for joining the coffee crew. Welcome to becoming a member. Take a cup and let's enjoy today's show. Okay, these are like 2... Okay, these are 2 super chats. Era says that card goes with Smothering Tithe and Children Hats. I guess so, to some degree. Nikachu, I have a computer and a hot tub. You can come to my house. All right, we're all gonna go. Everyone come over to King Ginger's house. Okay, Chris Bonehead with Lord of Tressorhorn. No, this is vanilla creature, right? Oh no, it's not. 4 mana. When it comes into play, you lose 2 life and sacrifice 2 creatures, and an opponent draws 2 cards. That's what we're talking about. I love it. Huge fan of Lord of Tressorhorn. Next super chat being donated to... Actually, this is the new member donation. John, Chaos Lord. How chaotic. 7 mana, first strike. Attack the first turn. It comes into play on a side. Okay, I was going to read the ancient scripture, but then I have a feeling this is going to take too much interpretation. It still has first strike, though. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent gains control of Chaos Lord if the number of permanents is even. Chaos Lord can attack as though it had haste, unless it entered the battlefield this turn. How friendly. We give our opponent our creature. Do whatever you want with it. You can even attack me with it. It's perfectly fine with me. Gary McCall says, hey, Nikachu, missed you yesterday morning, but I tried, but birthday sleep? Wedding ring is pretty good. All right, thank you very much. Let's take a look at, I think you mean wedding ring, the card. If you had a birthday and a wedding at the same time, congratulations, Cameron. I think you deserve it. Okay, well, of course you deserve it if it's your birthday. Everyone deserves a birthday. Okay, 4 mana artifact. Enters the battlefield. If it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life, during their turn, you gain that much life. This is too symmetrical. This is hard. Okay, I don't know. Okay, this is gonna be like... Okay, we're gonna change the show, because obviously I'm gonna disqualify half the cards. It's like anything that helps the opponent. I don't know, as much or better than you. Alright, coming out of left field, we got Platonic Liquid. Platonic Liquid is back! Let's give it, I don't know, do I have a special super chat here? Alright, Forceful Advocate and Shield Mage Advocate. On Force Mage. Force Mage Advocate. There's also Pulse Null Sperm Mage Advocate if people are interested. Just recently learned about them. Also, hello everyone, just popping in briefly. Welcome back. Pop in. Okay, let's take a look at Force Mage Advocate. 2 mana for a 2/1 Centaur. Tap return target card in an opponent's graveyard back to their hand. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. You get a creature, I get a +1/+1 counter. That was a perfect suggestion. 100%. That was a 10 out of 10. We need more cards like this on this show. Man, standard back then was awful. The drafting was probably just equally as miserable. Okay, next up, let's give to Julio. How about Nature's Resurgence? I'm definitely going to prioritize people who have very unique cards. We have a 4-mana sorcery. Each player draws a card for each creature card in their graveyard. This might benefit you more than the opponent, especially since you're the green player. But whatever, I'm gonna give it a pass. Okay, next up. A lot of spam going on in the chat. I gotta keep you guys in check here. But outside of that, okay, let's look at the Abyssal. Hold on, who hasn't got a card yet? Nora's got a lot of cards. Abyssal Persecutor. Abyssal Persecutor. Oh, no, hold on. This Flying Trample. You can't win the game, and your opponents can't lose the game. That is definitely a card that qualifies. I'm not allowed to win the game. I have a 6/6 creature. I even have as much power as I want on the battlefield. It's completely useless. Because okay, so what happens if I get you to 0 life? Do I win? No, but you can't lose. Who even wants to play with this card? I don't get it. This is for people. I guess the idea is you try to get them as low as possible, and then you get them. You sacrifice your Abyssal Persecutor for the win. Next up. We have like so many super chats on the backlog. Thank you so much, by the way, Platonic Liquid. Very nice to see you back again. Okay, we're going to go to... Let's go one from John. The Hellcarver Demon. What the hell is that? Helps your opponent in killing you. It does it? Okay, we got a 6-mana, 6/6 demon flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice all other permanents you control and discard your hand? Okay. Exile the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Oh, I see. So, it's definitely screwing you at the very least. You're just taking a gamble if it's even going to help you. Chris Thompson says, have you done Weird Harvest? We will in a minute. Lets everyone tutor for any creature. Green X sorcery. Each player may search their library for up to X creature cards. Reveal those cards and put them into their hand. Then each player who searched their library this way shuffles it. All right, tutors for all. Make sure you tutor out the best thing. Everyone thinks that they have the best tutor target until they face an even better tutor target. Yoshi, we did one with nothing. Yeah, the easy money has been done. Phage can help your opponent a ton. How the hell is Phage? Oh. Okay. So I thought you meant Flage. No, this is Phage. Okay, so there is a world where you cheat the Phage onto the battlefield, and then you just die instantly. You're a goner. It will be more valuable to your opponents than it will be for you. If you use Phage with this one trick. All right, King Ginger with Iwa Mori of the Open Fist. Forget what this card does. 4 mana for a 5/5 human monk with trample. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent may put a legendary creature card from their hand onto the battlefield. I mean, I shouldn't be too scared. After all, I created this mess. Looking at all these cards makes me feel like just building an entire deck based around them. It's like I have no real chance of winning, but I'll make you all duke it out. Maybe if I'm lucky, you'll all be at like 1 life, and then I can win with my damn Iwamori. Just pure, absolute nonsense. They'll never know I'll have this. What is even the commander to a deck like this? I guess Iwamori of the Open Fist. Yeah, this would be my commander. Oh, this one's true. Lessian, Eater of Days. This is only good for your opponent as far as I'm concerned. 4 mana 9/8, Flying Trample. But when it comes into play, you're going to skip your next 2 turns. Does anyone play this card? Does anyone know anyone that plays this card? Are we even a threat at the table if we play Eater of Days, or is everyone else a threat? I mean, we do have a 9/8 Flying Trampler. It's colorless, if that matters at all. Next up, we're gonna take a look at Kagan with the Wall of Shards. It's mostly good at stalling. 2 mana, 1/8 Flying Defender. Cumulative upkeep, an opponent gains 1 life. I like that card. I like it. Gift the opponent the gift of life. It sounds better than it actually is. Okay, Pedgeman says, does trade secrets count? It does, actually. No, it actually doesn't. Trade secrets will help you more, right? Because I think you draw 4, they draw 2. Else, Master of the Feast. Master of the Feast. 3 mana, 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card. Maybe this helps them more than you. Maybe. It's a bit of a wash. It's like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you play this card? Would you value more, the 5/5 or giving somebody 1 card? Or what's more devastating? Them having the card, or you have the 5/5 flyer? In Beamtown Bullies, it's a staple. Okay. Such a what a weird type of card. Okay, next up, let's take a look at who doesn't have anything. Benovsky, Otherworld Atlas. Otherworld. We got 4 mana for a. Hold on, what was your message? It gives too much value to other in multiplayer, but I love it anyway. Okay, 4 mana. Tap, put a charge counter on Otherworld Atlas. Tap, each player draws a card for each charge counter on the Otherworld Atlas. And before you know it, we're gonna be drawing cards like crazy. I'm gonna keep putting them charge counters on, and I want to keep drawing cards along with the rest of you. Ooh, for Ginkgo with Jinxed Idol. 2 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, Jinxed Idol deals 2 damage to you. And then sacrifice a creature. Target opponent gains control of Jinxed Idol. This is just some weird hot potato card. I don't know if I can. It's a very interesting card, but I don't think that fits the show. I play most of these black cards in my John deck. The hell is the John deck? Okay, Ecos, EDH, Fractured Identity. The gift to your opponents. Everyone gets something. Hold on, it's Fractured Identity. Blue-white, 3 generic sorcery. Exile target non-land permanent. Each player other than its controller creates a token that's a copy of it. Do I disqualify this? Because, like, if you're using, you're just gonna exile their card. Oh, but then 2 other people benefit? Okay. Sort of counts. PM with Arcane Denial. I like that card. It's a weird counter spell. 2 mana instant. Now, you do counter their spell, but they're gonna draw 2 cards out of the deal. And then at the beginning of your next upkeep, you draw a card. So you don't even immediately get a card. You exchange 1 for 1 with their thing. They draw 2 cards. You draw 1. You came out worse, in my opinion, if we're not accounting for tempo or any other strategic benefits Arcane Denial might be using in the moment. Next up. Toads, why are you suggesting so many cards that are just, like, strictly bad for you? Come on, let's look at cards that value. More valuable to the opponent. More valuable. Tempting Worm by iDucky. Tempting Worm, the 2 mana 5/5. When it comes into play, each opponent may put any number of artifact creatures, enchantments, and/or lands from their hand onto the battlefield. Oh my goodness. The hell is wrong with this card? I keep forgetting this card exists. It's not like I see it every day. It's worth some money. Look at this. It's like, oh, you can't see it. Hold on, I gotta pull it down. It's like, I'm gonna move myself away. It's worth, so for some reason, the original is $1.66, but the list version is almost $6. Very funny and interesting. 100% that qualifies. Very valuable to the opponents. All right, you heard the music. That means it's time to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards. Duskborn, House of Horrors coming up. If you like the Five Nights at Freddy's aesthetic coming out of this Magic the Gathering set, you like watching horror movies, this is the set for you. Pre-order your cards today while they're hot and ready at FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. Not to mention, you can get all your cards that are valuable to your opponents here. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. The ability to play any deck, any format you want. You can play Commander, you can play Pauper. Tomorrow you can play Standard. And because you're renting the cards with Mana Traders, you're not locked into any of these cards. You send them back and rent new decks. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_F90. And back to Tempting Worm. Don't tempt me, Worm. The real question is, how do I put this into play under an opponent's control? Even though I'm going to let 2 other people go ham. Ben, have you done Samite Sanctuary? 3 mana enchantment, pay 2. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn. Any player may play this ability. It's the gift of giving your cards to your opponent. Yeah, I like that. I accept it. Next super chat coming from Steve Cooper. Oh, you got sniped. That means you're donating 2, Steve Cooper. You're donating 2. All right, the first donation to go to Tommy Siddons, Patriarch's Bidding. I have a feeling you've suggested this card on a previous show. It's definitely bit me in the butt. Probably because you like to play this card. All right, it is a 5 mana sorcery. Each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of the chosen type this way from their graveyards to the battlefield. Well, like, why would you play this when clearly the opponent can benefit? Or is it like, well, I can bring back 6 creatures. My opponents can only bring back 1, but then that 1 probably blows everything else up. So they win. Okay, we got Joe Tiefer. You're going to get the second super chat donation. Prosperity. Each player draws X cards. Oh, that's value. Not just 1. Everyone's drawing around here. I meet your... I'm just trying to think what's the most flavorful way to use this. Maybe not flavorful, but I guess you can screw someone over if you're playing with, sorry, what's it called? Fairy Mastermind. All right, you all get to draw 7 cards. I'll draw 8. Or no, you get to draw more. You get 1 extra for each one. Yeah, I was thinking of using Fairy Mastermind. Like, what do I got to do? Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. Yeah, you could use this with Fairy Mastermind. So, everyone draws 2. Okay, I'm going to draw an extra 1 for each one of you other people. And if they have a Fairy Mastermind, oh, don't ask me the math. Don't ask me. Toads with the Bold Weir Heavyweights. 4 mana, 8/8. It's got trample. When it comes into play, each opponent may search their library for a creature card and also put it into play. Then each player who searches their library this way shuffles it. I don't think the heavyweights are going to do the best against your best card. It's basically, this card is saying, give me the best card in your deck. You know, bring it on. I can take on the world around here. I don't know if they're that heavy of a heavyweight. And then you show them Emrakul. Like some sort of Emrakul. Not the Aeon's Torrent. That card's banned in Commander. We've done Force Fruition. Okay, I'll tell you what we haven't done. Okay, Cameron wants to redeem themselves. 2 options I can think of is Not Chosen, Wrong Turn, and a Crone Horse. Okay, let's look at Wrong Turn. I think this topic is a bit hard to look up on Scryfall, which makes it difficult on all of you. All right, this is a unique new card. 3 mana instant. Target opponent gains control of target creature. Okay, that's if we're giving them something good. I don't know how... Honestly, I don't know any creature that you could give that is bad. Usually, like, the lethal things you donate to somebody are, generally speaking, going to be, like, enchantments. In this case, you could give them one. You could give them that. What's it called? That demon that we were looking at. You can't win the game, and your opponents can't lose the game. What's your second card? The Acrone Horse. Oh, this thing, the 4-mana 0/4. ETB, an opponent gains control of it. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent creates a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Technically, this is better for the opponents because you have 2 more that get more, what's it called? You have 2 opponents that are going to gain just as many tokens as you are. AKA, this is the Trojan horse. Be very sus of that horse. Tiger says, we use wrong turn to move an opponent's creature to another opponent, right? Oh, can we do that? Target opponent gains control of target creature. Oh, oh, then it's a slam dunk. Yeah, that's right. This card is more valuable. This actually cannot help you at all, except except making the board more screwy, or maybe balancing the table out. The balancing of powers. I think we did we do Sky Swallower, Hexenart? Okay, Sky. Hold on, no, there's 2 Sky Swallowers. I can't remember. What's the one that you guys always, I think it's this one. Oh yeah, the problem is you can never be more specific because this is literally the Sky Swallower. 5 mana for an 8/8. It's got flying. When it comes into play, target opponent gains control of all other permanents you control. What? Why are we doing this?
No, God, please.
This is awful. RIP my board. I built it up for so long. I have Hunted Wumpus. I had, what is that, Demon card? Imagine I have a deck full of these cards. Boulder Weir Heavyweights. And then I donate the rest of them. Alright, you can have all my vanilla creatures. You're in my will. Okay, next up. Super chat from Elixir. Thank you very much for your super chat. Give me a Forbidden Orchard. Okay. That is definitely in line with the show. It's a land. You can add 1 mana of any color. But whenever you tap Forbidden Orchard for mana, target opponent creates a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. You can block with that thing. You could attack with that thing. You could sacrifice that thing. Better believe that Forbidden Orchard is just for you. Will Anderson with the Obstinate Baloth. Obstinate Baloth. Oh, sorry, it's Obstinate Familiar. Obstinate Familiar. When I say Obstinate, I only know the Baloth. We got the 1/1 Lizard for 1 mana. Now, if you would draw a card, you may skip that draw instead. If you would draw a card, you may skip that draw instead. Why? If you would draw a card, you may skip that draw instead. Like, why do I want to give myself the option to not draw a card? How deep were they going with this card? Never deck out. Oh, is that the idea? Anti-decking tool. That is some really niche tech that I don't think anyone's ever used. That's crazy. Has any deck in the history of Magic the Gathering used this card, like in Standard or anywhere? If you draw a card, it's anti-mill tech too, as well, actually. If you have this against mill, I mean, they're screwed. They have to somehow attack you with their crabs. Or I guess they could kill this thing as well. Oh my god, I love this, Steve Cooper. You deserve like an absolute medal. Stops Force Fruition. Someone gets Force Fruition. I counter it with the Obstinate Familiar. That is a huge Gotham. That's the biggest Gotham of all time. You should do a show on niche cards. We've actually done one before. I guess we could do another one. It was like cards for very specific situations. All right, let's take a look at who not have a card yet. Okay, Akusa, Allure of the Unknown. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Allure it. 5 mana sorcery. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. An opponent exiles a non-land card from among them. Then you put the rest into your hand. That opponent may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Oh my goodness. Basically, it's like a Toad's treasure mushroom block, or it's a treasure chest. They get to choose whatever they want, and then they can play it for free. They'll obviously choose the best card. Unless you give them just a bunch of crap. Imagine playing this card with all these other cards. Okay, choose wisely. In fact, none of them really help you. It only hurts you. So this card is very good in this deck of this show, essentially. Yeah, it could be good in the right deck, I think. Yeah, this deck. Just take all the cards from this show and boom, buy it. Buy it at fusiongamingonline.com. Okay, next up. The Jaded, because you could screw Dredge by donating Obstinate Familiar without its May clause. Because you could, how? But they can still draw. They say you may skip the draw. They'll just draw anyway and then go straight to the bottom of their deck. I think it would just help them. Will Anderson, pretty simple. Grove of the Burned Willows. I don't think they've explored this design space enough where, like, you know, here's a dual land, basically. It's basically a taiga. Plus, it can add colorless mana, which is important for Eldrazi's. And your opponent gains a singular life point. Like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. I think they should further develop cards like this, where they're a little pushed, but they're not too pushed because they help the opponent. Okay, next up, we got Bryce with the Hive Mind. Okay, this is the Gift of Giving. It's the 6-mana enchantment. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. Each of those players may choose new targets for their copy. Just don't be playing any pacts. That would be very rude. Okay, that would be incredibly rude. Next up, the Grove is literally on fire. Is it? I always thought it was like sort of glowing, but you know what? I think you're right. It's like lava. It's like a grove of lava. Grove of the Burned Willows. Oh, is it just a regular willow tree just burning down mid-flight? You can absorb that life as it like simmers and cooks and burns. SHG. Okay, Sizen. A Sizen. Perverter of Truth. Come on, we all read that as Perverted Truth. Okay, this is a 5-mana 6/5 Demon Spirit. It's a legendary creature. Now, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses 2 life and draws 2 cards. Each player's upkeep. Oh, that's interesting. So, okay, so everyone has like a semi-necropotence. The leaves are lava. Well, I am not going to lay down. I'm not going to sleep underneath that tree. That sounds like a danger. The card is sort of innocent. The flavor is very dangerous. Ooh, did we do Feldegrif by Nedim? Feldegrif. No, we have not. Take a look at the old Feldegrif. 4 mana 4/4. Pay a green. We get a trample, but our opponent gets a 1/1 green hippo. And for a white, we might get flying, but our opponent gains 2 life. Is it all opponents? Just target opponent. And pay a blue. Return Feldegrif back to hand, and the opponent may draw a card. This is a little bit on the edge. This actually might be just good enough that it's more valuable to you. Just good enough, but does help the opponent. This is like the Grove of the Burned Willows of creatures, essentially. Okay, next up. Elixirs, the Stark of Wrath. Stark of Wrath, 3 mana, 2/2, human rogue. Tap, destroy target artifact or creature. That permanent's controller gains control of Stark of Wrath. Oh my goodness, what? My Stark of Wrath. I give it to you in exchange for destroying your creature. And now you can destroy something of mine. Okay, we got Jeffrey, blue braids. Oh, I know what you mean. I was almost about to look up literally blue braids. Blue braids, conjure adept. 4 mana, 2/2, human wizard. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, starting with the person on your left, that player may put an artifact, creature, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. You will be the last person to get to show and tell anything onto the battlefield. Next up, we got Jaded Crocus Stark. Is that a card? Stark? Oh, you want to Crocus this thing. Oh, okay. So you give it to them, you Crocus, you bounce it back to your hand, and then you replay it. So that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Okay, we'll go to a super chat. We got Kagan with Karn the Betrayer. It's a commander that fits this. Thank God. We need more commanders that fit this. Okay, 4 mana, 5/1. It's got Berserker. It attacks or blocks each combat if able. So it means it blocks immediately and then attacks for the rest of the game. The Sigil of Corruption. What is a sigil? I don't even know what this is. I've talked about this so many times in like custom card shows. You all love your sigils. Whenever you lose control of Karn the Betrayer, draw 2 cards. Oh! Okay, the Betrayer. If damage would be dealt to Karn the Betrayer, prevent that damage, an opponent of your choice gains control of it. Ah, I see. We all pass around the Karn the Betrayer. We're letting our opponent play with our deck. Gavin Drake. The Rites of Flourishing. Anyone with no card yet at this point of the show? Okay, 3 mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Each player may play an additional land on each of their turns. At the beginning of each player's... Oh my goodness! This is awful. So basically we're gonna let everyone ramp themselves up and then draw a bunch of extra cards. Like, I don't... Is this a sort of a newish card? Well, not really. Actually, it's old. It's from 2012. This is definitely a I'm gonna help you more than I'm gonna help me card. Okay, we got Ecos with the super chat. Thanks so much. Varchild, War Riders. Gift your opponent an army. Oh, is it this card? Oh yes, I love this card. 2 mana for a 3/4. Cumulative upkeep. Put a 1/1 red survivor creature token into play under an opponent's control. Oh, by the way, this has Trample and Rampage 1. I don't know if that is going to be relevant to any of you as I put this gigantic red survivor army. An army of survivors. Alex with Bedlam. Is there really a card called Bedlam? There is. Creatures can't block. Way more valuable to your opponents. I can't tell. I can't tell. I think if you put this in your deck, probably it benefits you. If you're playing a Varchild deck, then it's better for you. Probably. Wouldn't the combo with the War Riders be plus the Raptor that deals damage to creatures on ETB, plus a card that deals damage when anything dies? Absolutely. If you can set that up. Aspie with the Grid Monitor. Aspie GG. 4 mana, 4/6. You can't play creature spells. Why?
No, God, please.
This is actually worse than that. This is a Titanic-worthy card. It's only a 4/6 for 4 mana. And it's an artifact creature, which can die to anything. And what is with this art? It is some really weird-looking sentinel of some sort. Like these hands, it better be blasters. The Grid Monitor is terrible. Boy, does that help the opponent way more than you. Oh yes, I am so confident I don't need to play creature spells for the rest of the game because this creature is going to be more than enough for me to win. That's right, Grid Monitor versus those heavyweights that we saw earlier. Okay, next up, let's take a look. Time to wrong turn this Grid Monitor. What's wrong turn? Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God. That's a bad combo that actually works. I love that one. Is the robot you send out to see how dangerous it is so no one else goes out till it's dead? I suppose so. But then if it dies, that's like almost like a litmus test for how much it danger out there. Yeah, good for the I guess so. It's a good donate target. I don't think we've ever seen this card on the show. This is a first time for me. Okay, next up, let's take a look at Cosmic Larva. Sounds disgusting. From Ferginka. This is a 3-mana 7/6 beast with trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Cosmic Larva unless you sacrifice 2 lands. I don't think this is enough value for the opponents. This is more or less just too much downside to it's like a little bit of downside to us. Oh, it is at 3 mana. I didn't even realize that. So 3 mana, sack 2 lands. To be honest, you're not playing it on turn 3. I will admit, you are absolutely not playing this on turn 3 unless you just want it to die in like 2 turns. Okay, Crowcore Games with Perch Protection. I sure do love casting a spell that stops my turn and gives someone else a turn. Laugh my ass off. Don't you love gift mechanics? Better not hopes nobody else has a Gyrad's Hourglass. I don't know what that's all about, but okay, we have a 6-mana instant. Gift an extra turn. By the way, here is I gift an extra turn to you. Create 4 2/2 blue bird creature tokens with flying. If the gift was promised, all permanents you control phase out, and until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. It's a very strange Teferi's protection, you asked me. Very strange. Okay, we did Hunted Wumpus. It was a great suggestion. Rasmus Ronso with Timmy, the Power Gamer. Is this real? There's no way this is real. It didn't exist. You fooled me. Tomb of Annihilation. Tomb of... Oh, is this the card that bounces? What? I don't get it. Trapped entry. Each player loses 1 life. I don't see how this... I don't see how this card is part of the show. Discard a card and sacrifice an artifact and a creature and a land. Discard a card... Oh, is this like a card that annihilates me? Each player loses 2 life unless they discard a card. No, I don't think this qualifies enough. Gavin Drake with Howling Mine. Yeah, this works. 2-mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. Which means it's like my job to tap the damn thing so you get nothing. Wait a minute, this is like a combo with like Urza. You play Urza, you play Howling Mine, you tap it immediately for mana, and then your opponent doesn't get to use it at all. It's Timmy Power Gamer. Timmy Power. Oh, it's an uncard. Silver border. If you donate, I will do these cards. Okay, Jeffrey Creamer. I'm trying to think of cards I've seen played in EDH. Power Gauntlet for doubling everybody's mana. They exist. Okay, Meme Brule. Flourishing Rights. Flourishing. It's been said now. Oh, we just did that one. I completely forgot. Hexenort, Dubious Challenge. I issue a challenge. Okay, it's a 4-mana sorcery. Look at the top. 10 cards of your library. Exile up to 2 creature cards from among them. Then shuffle your library. Now, target opponent may choose one of the exiled cards and put it onto the battlefield under their control. Oh, God! Put the rest onto the battlefield under your control. So exile up to 2 creature cards from among them, then shuffle your library. Target opponent may choose one of the exiled cards. So it's like, okay, you get a card, I get a card. I guess you should fill the deck with cards like all the cards on this show. Okay, get a creature that lets me tutor out another creature onto the battlefield. You know, it's like a lose-lose, whatever you put into play. Ferginka, did we do this one already? I hope I won't get buzzed a 3rd time. Indentured Dejin. Today, today might be a hard show. Maybe there's less. We did this one, unfortunately, already. Oh, you like pseudo got sniped, except you didn't pay for it, which is good. So you freely got sniped. Wish Claw gives your opponent. Sorry, you get 2 cards. Your opponent only gets 1. This Wish Claw Talisman. It can backfire. To be honest, every single time someone like plays Wish Claw against me, it has been in my favor. Okay, next, let's take. Jonathan says, imagine needing validation and gratification so much that you come to YouTube and troll the host with a random show. I had this host look up a card. I bet he already looked up W. I don't know what that's in reference to, but okay. Okay, Elixir. Thank you very much for your super chat. How many super chats have you done today? Like 1 million. Descent into Avernus. For Ginka, by the way, keep trying. Keep going for it. Okay, we have a 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters on Descent into Avernus. Then each player creates X treasure tokens, and Descent into Avernus deals X damage to each player, where X is the number of descent counters on Descent into Avernus. It's like, well, it might help them. It also might kill them. Oh, okay, well, did we do Krona? Okay, Krona the False God. From Christopher B. Okay, we got Wooburg and 1 generic for a 5/5 legend with haste. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps Krona, False God, and gains control of it. And whenever Krona attacks, creatures of the type of your choice get +3/+3 until end of turn. It's everyone's Corona. Everyone's God. Gonna have people see things my way. Okay, next up. Julio's like, did we do donate? We honestly didn't do donate. Usually you're gonna we did do harmless offering, so we might as well give a honorable shout out to the donates. Donate them something good. We did Hypergenesis. We haven't done Leveler, but that's like not necessarily a bad thing. It's not clearly better for the opponent. Oh, Julian with the have we done Una's Prowler? That's an interesting suggestion. It's wild against Madness decks. Yeah, it will be. I mean, it's wild for a lot of stuff. Okay, it's a 2-mana 3/1 with flying. Discard a card. Una's Prowler gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Any player may activate this ability. Like, you would have to be very lucky. Or sorry, very unlucky that your deck has nothing to do with the graveyard. Almost every deck has something to do with the graveyard. Therefore, this enables almost every single graveyard deck on the face of the planet. Next up, let's take a look at Crowcore Games. Aggressive mining. Oh, I don't know if this one's gonna count though. I think we used the super chat too many times. We can use this one. It's a little awkward. 4 mana, you can't play lands, but you can sack a land. Do it. I'll give it to you. We can count this card. You can draw 2 cards, but you don't get any more lands for the rest of the game. Not being able to play lands suck. Well, that's the trick. You gotta try to cheat them lands onto the battlefield. You can dig and put them onto the battlefield. King Ginger with Zur Ta Ancient. Okay, I have to look up. Let's look up Zur Ta. Is it TAH? Ancient? Nope. TAA? Oh, it is Zur Ta Ancient. Okay. 5 mana for a 7/5 beast. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, they add a mana of 1 mana to their mana pool for any type that land produced. Everyone gets mana. It's on the house. Did we do Sorrow's Path? I don't like these. I don't like these too many of these self-sabotage cards. I like these cards that are helping the opponent. Remember, they're being valuable to the opponent. Valuable. My fourth one to buzz is Phyrexian Negator. Yes, it is. Wait a minute. Hold on. No, that one is good, actually. That's right. Phyrexian Negator, 3 mana 5/5, trample. Whenever Phyrexian Negator is dealt damage, sacrifice that many permanents. Your opponent will have absolutely no problem doing anything to this damn card. Lightning Bolt, block it. It's gonna be lethal, basically making this card like an absolute nightmare for you more than it will be for them. Okay, Ecos, Oath of Lieges valuable to non-green opponents. Oath of Lieges valuable to non-green opponents. 2 mana, enchantment. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls fewer lands than target opponent, that player may search their library for a basic land card and put that land into play. The player shuffles their library afterwards. So during each player, if that player controls fewer lands. So basically, this is like a weird land tax for everybody. This is a sweet card. All right, no one's gonna get mana screwed. This is the ultimate nobody's mana screwed this game card. Yeah, it's a reverse. That Phyrexian Negator is like reverse Annihilator. The anti-Annihilator. Okay, Kagan wants Biff Afrits. These Afrits all have very, very strange names in my opinion. Because the green player wants other players to kill off their few flyers. If this is gonna look it up. If Biff. We will. Excellent, we found it. 4 mana for a 3/3 Afreet, flying. For a green, it deals 1 damage to each creature with flying and each player. Any player may play this ability. Holy moly! We give the opponent the power to kill our own Afreet. And maybe kill all our flyers. We're some sort of Afreet deck. David with misinformation. Black instant. Put up to 3 target cards from an opponent's graveyard on top of their library in any order. In theory, this could help them more. In practice, you might screw them over. Okay, I'm gonna put 3 land cards on your on top of your deck. It's like time walking you for 3 turns. In some sense. Next super chat we got from Steve Cooper, the Wishmonger. Our protection. Are these 2 suggestions? And a donation for chat. Okay, let's look up Wishmonger. We got a white 3 generic, 3/3 Monger. This is for 2 mana. Target creature gains protection from the color of its controller's choice until end of turn. Any player may play this ability. Target creature gains protection from the color. So anyone can get protection from anything. But only the creatures. But then, okay, if I have protection from you, you can get protection from me. What a weird card. But it works. Ooh, City of Brass. Simple but effective. From Jeffrey. Okay, we've got... what's going on? Gourmet is like, is that a unicorn person trying to stab the woman with a candle? No, I don't think so. I don't think this is not a stabbing action. But at the same time, I have no idea what's going on here. I think they're leaking the wax into this bowl. Very strange ritual, if you ask me. Cedar Brass! Deal 1 damage to you. Whenever it becomes tapped, add 1 mana of any color. Trip says, I think Christopher B is right here. You can still put lands into play with something like Rampant Growth, even if something says you can't play lands. Oh, you're talking about, aggressive mining? Absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely Rampant Growth. You can Farseek. If there's anything that says you can't play lands from your hand onto the battlefield as your land drop for the turn, but you can 100% cheat lands onto the battlefield. Okay, what do we got here? Just looking for some interesting cards. Quain from Gavin. Oh, this card, 2 mana, 1/3, tap. Each player may draw a card. Then each player who drew a card this way also gains a life. Ecos, the Oath of Lieges. This sounds way more dramatic than it actually is. Oh, plus aggressive mining. Oh, you're talking about plus aggressive. What? Okay, hold on. Let's get Oath of Lieges. The ultimate loophole. Oh, interesting! We have a lot of unintentional combos on this show. So during each player's upkeep, if that player controls fewer lands than target opponent, yeah, with aggressive mining, I'm always gonna have less lands. So I'll just have everyone like give me the lands anyway. This is an absolute banger combo. I love this. This is so damn good. We see Old Boy yet? Old Boy got at least one card today. Look at the rollings on aggressive money. What do you got, Old Boy? You got something new? Old Boy talking in chat. Oh, Old Growth Dryads. One mana 3/3. ETB. Each opponent may search their library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle their library. You're welcome. I love ramping my opponents for 1 mana. Crowcore Games want to specify what the rules. Cannot play lands means also can't put them into play. That is wrong. You cannot, when it says you can't play lands, it just means cannot play lands from your hand. You absolutely can cheat them onto the battlefield if other cards say so. This whole Magic the Gathering is all about breaking the rules. That's all Magic is. Like, you can't do this. No, yes I can. No, you can't. Yes I can. No, you can't. So that's all Magic the Gathering is. I don't know many effects that says you absolutely freaking cannot, no matter what, do this. Except I think Trinisphere is the only card I can think of. Trinisphere is like the only card in Magic the Gathering that says everything you play has to cost at least 3, and F you can't say otherwise. Nothing else. But everything else, there's always a catch. There's a clause. We did Howling Mine. Castle Lothwain's second ability is not worth 1 card draw. But I think the castles are still good. Ignore you? Okay, don't worry. Reading the rules. Yeah, reading the rules explains the rules. Yeah, I goofed. It's okay. Don't worry. I've got millions of rules wrong myself. Oh, Oath of Lieges and Strip Mine? That's a combo too. Yeah, I like that one. Oath of Lieges! What a card. This card's an absolute banger. Okay, hold on. What are we talking about here with Castle Lothwain? Hold on. Castle L. Lothwain. Okay, enters the battlefield unless you control a swamp. Tapped out of black. 3 mana. Tap, draw a card. You lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. Usually when this is played, it's played when you have like no cards in hand. So it's like, I wouldn't say this is a good one. Wouldn't Chalice of the Void be on the same level as Trinisphere? Not even close, because if you have uncounterable cards, you can play them through Chalice of the Void. They're not in the same league at all. Yoshu! We got Xerus, the Writhing Storm. This is a 5 mana 3/5 Snake Leviathan. It's got flying. And whenever an opponent draws a card, except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, create a 1/1 green snake creature token. How does this help the opponent? Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. Sure. We did Shot of Nar Isle. We did that one Nadim. To be fair, the castle kind of feels like Phyrexian Arena at home. Well, you know, it's part of your mana base, so it's like free, right? Oops, where am I going? Backspace, backspace. Okay, it's like completely free, right? But hold on, where's castle? This is just part of your mana base. You don't have to use this ability. It's a complete free roll. We did Feldegrif. We're running out of... This is a tough category. What was Platonic Liquid's card? Let's look at the other ones. Platonic Liquid was on to something. I can't remember what what the hell those cards were, though. Does anyone know? Can I figure it out? Can I go see her past super chats? Am I at the beginning of these super chats? Does anyone remember? It was a set of advocates. The advocates! We're gonna look up the advocates. Okay, there was the Force Mage Advocate. Now that was a bad one. What's another one? The Juniper Order Advocate. 3 mana, 1/2. Green creatures you control get +1/+1. No, that's not a good one. I just have a feeling the other advocates, probably from the same. Okay, how? The Pulse Mage Advocate. 3 mana for a 1/3. Tap. Return 3 target cards in opponent's graveyard to their hand. Return target creature card from your graveyard to play. So you help your opponent. Well, probably that one helped you more. There is also the Shield Mage Advocate. It's a 1/3. Cleric. Tap. Return target card in an opponent's graveyard to their hand. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn by a source of your choice. That absolutely is a banger. What is another advocate? These cards keep putting cards from someone's graveyard back to their hand. The Null Mage Advocate. 3 mana for a 2/3. Tap. Return 2 target cards from an opponent's graveyard to their hand to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Okay, you lose 1, you get 2. What else do we have? The Spurn Mage Advocate. It's a white 1/1. Tap. Return 2 target cards from an opponent's graveyard back to their hand. Destroy target attacking creature. That one may... Okay, that one's an awkward one, to be honest. That one could end up being really good for you. Nikachu, look at the rare white advocate. A card is what deals damage. Could kill itself. This one? Hold on. Which one? You mean this one? Which one? Look at the rare. There's too many rare white ones. Okay, return 3 target creatures. Return target creature card. No, this has nothing to do with that. You must be talking about this one. I think you're talking about return, destroy target attacking creature. You're talking about like if I give this vigilance and attack with it. I don't get this card. I don't know what you mean by this comment. You have to be more specific. Pulse Mage slaps with send triplets. Does this have to do with the show? Oh, this try to look up Pulse Mage. Pulse Mage is right here. Rasmus, Mana Flare is bad and good is a bad and good card at the same time. Mana Flare. 3 mana. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of that type to their mana pool. 100%. I think it's just more good than it is bad. What else? Nedim, Crib Swap. Crib Swap. Want to switch homes? Also a candidate for most unsettling art. Oh, unsettling art yet. The Duskmourn hasn't been completely released. 3 mana. Kindred Shapeshifter instant with Changeling. Exile target creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 colorless Shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. Probably that's not worth it, to be honest. On that note, we gotta say goodbye. But it's not gonna be goodbye for forever because there's always another day for Coffee and MTG. And if you want to be part of that show, you gotta be here weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. Oh, thank you so much. People who are patrons on Patreon, members on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or super chat so other people are part of the show. And of course, thank you to all the coffee crew who are showing up here today, every day. People like Christopher B, Ecos, Apocalypse, Bryce, Rasmus, Toads, Julian, Chris Bonehead, Crowcore Games. We've got Trip, Jess, Oldboy, Steve Cooper, the Jaded Gourmet, Ferginka, Paul Rogg, Cameron Cole, Tiger, Crowcore Games. Thank you so much for being here. And as usual, my coffee crew, keep bringing up them coffees, and we'll keep bringing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cut.